Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, another week in the neighborhood. A busy week. Today we have Wings of Hope, an equine therapy outfit that's going to tell us all the benefits of equine therapy. I'm going to learn a lot today because I only have the vaguest idea what it's about, but we'll learn and find out how you could support it, and maybe you could use it. You never know. Or you maybe have a family member or a friend that is in need of these kind of services. So I have Theresa Thomas and Allison. I didn't get the last name.
I'm Allison Gross.
Oh, Allison Gross. Okay, good. And they're going to tell us all about it. So this isn't your first podcast, but you've been on mics before, so you ought to be okay, Ryan.
Yes. Yes. We're excited. We are.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see. We'll try to keep, do our best to promote your business, because I really like doing the nonprofit shows and the political shows. This is going to be a busy week, with all the stuff going on. Our elections are May 4th. Mm-hmm. And also we have that Kentucky Derby party at Gala's Southern Gym, which I'll talk about in a minute, and y'all can be part of that. And, all sorts of stuff going on. So it's a busy day. How you doing, Taylor?
I'm good.
Yeah, so you got new toys for us here,
Yeah, it's got to make you look better, sir.
Well, it's...
You said I need to look better on video.
Better on video. Well, that's a mighty tall order, but whatever. Anyway, so before we jump into this, let's look at our sponsors make all this possible. First of all, we have Auto at Our Place. I'm sure y'all have been there before. Everybody's been to Our Place. I don't think I've met any guest that ever said, no, I never heard of it. Everybody knows where Our Place is. Also, I went to Gina's Pizza last Wednesday with a buddy, and it's really good. It really is. If you haven't had a chance to go, I would. Gina's, if y'all are y'all long-term Burleson folks by any chance, or y'all outside of it?
Long-term enough, I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, you should go there. It is delicious.
Yeah, the pizza is great and service is great. And so Our Place, Otto has replicated the kind of service and atmosphere that you get at that place at this new place. So that's really great. Also, Wild Cigar and Culture. Y'all cigar smokers by any chance?
No.
Not quite. Well, there's maybe somebody in your life that is, and so you can buy, it's Father's Day coming up. You can buy them a gift card or... Well, of course, I go in there every now and then just for a little customer care, et cetera, et cetera. And I see women smoking cigars, so it's not just men, certainly. And they have a great humidor. And they're also very involved in a lot of the community stuff that we're talking about. They'll be there Saturday at the party.
Wonderful.
Yeah, they're going to be helping out with that, with like bourbon tasting and things of that nature. So Wild Cigar and Culture on the Standard, go check it out. It's a great place. Also, this is coming out this week. This will be Local Life Magazine, goes to 30,000 homes. A lot of ads, very direct to the Burleson, Northern Johnson County, Joshua area. And also, you go into several places like Gala's and others, you'll see, extra copies. And so while people are waiting or they're perusing, they'll look through that magazine. So it gets a lot of eyeballs. So check out Tiffany's Local Life Magazine, or check out locallifetx.com for something online. Sorry. Also, of course, then we have Southern Gym. They had that big Kentucky Derby party on Saturday, 3 to 7, and it's going to benefit y'all, this Wings of Hope.
That is correct.
And I'm going to ask you in a minute how y'all connected, because apparently y'all didn't really know each other until this event.
Right.
But Gayla really is into horses and horse racing and equestrian sports and things of that nature. So it's going to be a big deal, 3 to 7 at the store. There are going to be some... not just, sales and specials, but they'll, like I mentioned, the bourbon tasting, and there's going to be the hats and the dresses. My wife is having to get a hat and all that.
I got my hat.
You get your hat, Well, what can you say? It's really going to be very, very nice. Gayla knows how to put on a party, an event. I've been to several of them for like the Chamber of Commerce or other events that she's put on, and she knows how to host these kind of things, so it's great. So we'll see y'all at 3 to 7. Yes. Also, thank you to Two Maids with Brenda Ramirez, twomaidscleaning.com/Burleson or 817-764-0733. They'll do your apartment house business. They do the Windmiller Building. They do Gala's shop, for example, and they do a great job. Brenda charges you not by the job or by the hour, basically by the satisfaction of the customer. So you rate the customer after they've come and done their job, and that's going to be the basis of what she pays her ladies. Or there's a couple of men involved too. But so it's a really good deal. And several of us in my networking group, my BNI networking group, which she's part of, use her not just for their own homes, but for their parents' homes. That's a really a nice thing. And I'll be getting there pretty soon because my parents are up there, and there you go. So thank you, Brenda. Also, Old Pro Roofing, where we had a storm Saturday morning, didn't we? Or Sunday morning, actually. Sunday morning. I mean, I slept through it, and then I'll get up and, man, stand in water everywhere. But I didn't worry about my roof. Why? Because John Williams told me my roof was good to go. John Williams at 817-734-2756. He'll come check your roof out. Sunday morning would have been a bad time to find out you had a leak. So get your house roof inspected when the weather's nice, and that way he can tell you, yes, you need some repairs. No, you're fine and good to go. So there you go. Also, Camco Mortgage, Sammy Campbell, Candy Gal, they've been doing this for quite some time. I've used them before. You know, we did some refinancing to pay some bills and all that. Sammy Campbell at 817-778-4592. Candy Gal at 817-925-2661. You know, there's lots going on with the rates, and I get confused. You know, I like to read the Wall Street Journal or whatever, and I'm still getting confused. So they can help you out, hold your hand, and all that. So check them out. And if you're looking for refinancing or new financing, they can help you with all of that. And our newest sponsor, Jeff Campbell of the Wethington Agency. The Wethington Agency. Jeff Campbell is at 817-781-0546, or his office, 817-720-6300. Sellingthe817.com is the website. He'll help you with the real estate deals. He's always posting on Facebook and other social media about housing deals that he has coming or has already. And I'm going to have him on the show. We're going to have him about a month from now to talk about what's going on in the real estate market. And he's a well-known real estate agent in this town. You know, I didn't know him personally, and then when he asked to be a sponsor, I checked out his background, and it turns out a lot of people know him, and they all were very complimentary. So there you go. As far as the other nonprofits, we'll probably save them to the end. We got a big one, 2 big ones on Saturday, so we'll check about that. Okay, now that I paid the bills, what exactly is Wings of Hope?
That's a loaded question.
Okay, it's an equine therapy outfit. First of all, how long have y'all been in operation?
So we began in 1996. So we're in our 28th year of operation.
Right.
So 28 years of partnering horses and humans. And what that looks like is anybody with any type of physical, mental, or emotional challenge, any type of diagnosis that they are working with. We feel that if we partner them with a horse, that we're going to give them some tools and some skills, and be able to focus on their abilities and how to navigate life with whatever that challenge is.
So, you know, from what I gathered, I did a little background on this. What I gather is the people, your clients, are primarily those, maybe they're autistic, maybe they have had some sort of injuries, maybe a PTSD, and you know, what exactly is the therapy a horse provides? I mean, I enjoyed horse riding when I had the chance. I haven't done it in quite some time, and I thought it was therapeutic, but I didn't know that really was actually a prescribed method of therapy. So,
Absolutely.
So how is it therapeutic?
Well, we have 2 different programs for our therapy side. It is the mounted program and the ground-based program. Mounted means that you're up on the horse and you're working with that horse to do certain things depending on what your goals are. And the same with the ground-based. You're partnered with a horse from the ground. Some people are not prepared to be up on a horse, on the back of a horse, and so we offer that ground-based program for them. Some people are physically unable to get up on a horse. And then being able to partner with a horse from the ground or the back of the horse, we use the horse, help me out,
As a partner, as a tool, as a resource. So physically, one of the ways that it's therapeutic is that the gait, the rhythm of a horse's movement simulates that most natural movement of a human. So if you think of somebody who's maybe does not walk in the same way that you or I do, or perhaps they have survived something. So maybe it is a traumatic brain injury, survived a stroke. Maybe they are, diagnosed with something later in life, like multiple sclerosis. And so their body, their gait is not working in the same way as, God intended it to. The horse can actually provide that movement.
It's interesting because I did check out a little bit, and you mentioned the gait. And I was talking to my cousin on the way over here, who's familiar with horses, And that's exactly what he brought up. I said, how exactly is this therapeutic? And he says, well, you get on that horse and it has this natural rhythm and it's very comforting and soothing. And if you have somebody that with like anxiety issues or they're autistic and they're and prone for maybe being excitable, shall we say? Because I'm sure you've seen that happen. When I was at BHS, I saw it happen a few times, and because they're overloaded sensories and all that. But he said, no, it's a gait that kind of just calms people down and gives them. It's just very relaxing.
I like to describe it as very similar to a swing. When you think about swinging when you were a child and how that relaxed you and brought your energy level down, that rhythmic swing is very similar to that rhythmic movement that the horse offers.
When I was on the swing, I was trying to get as high as I could and let go at the top and see how far I could go. So I guess, had a different experience with swinging.
Yes.
But anyway, but I could see that. When I was a young man, teenager, there was a horse farm that would provide rides and stuff. And I don't know if it was for therapy or not, but you could do it. And the horses knew the path and all this. It was out in the country just a little bit. And it was just nice and relaxing, kind of loping along and, checking out the scenery and not in a big hurry. And I guess that what it does, from what I understand, it just relaxes you a bit. And, sometimes we all need that, certainly. So as far as your clients, I think you mentioned age 4 and up, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So do you have a lot of people my age doing this?
Yes, we're about 50-50, where we have about 50% children and 50% adults right now.
Well, I'm quite along the path of adulthood. So, I'm 61, so I don't know if... Do you have people my age?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah, we do.
So that's good to know. How many horses do you have, by the way?
16.
16, okay.
Yes.
And I'm sure they're quite used to having patients, so to speak, clients is maybe the better word, on them. And now, are they probably, I don't know, are they trained to be docile or whatever? But I can imagine they're not going to be unbroken horses or something like that.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Our horses come to us already trained. They all have a former career. Our horses, for the most part, prior to COVID, were donated to us. And now we're at the point where we're having to purchase our horses. But we do look for specific things with horses before accepting them into our training or desensitizing time. And we look for quiet, we look for curiosity, we look for a horse that can stand still, that can handle pressure and lots of people around them, because not all horses can do that.
So they come almost like they audition for you.
Absolutely.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I would have no idea looking at a horse if that would be suitable or not. I guess y'all been around them enough to know the telltale signs, but I would just say, it's a nice horse, did it.
Right.
And then find out that it's an ex-rodeo horse, or something like that.
Right.
So where do these horses come from normally? You said they had a previous career. Where do they come from?
Some are like hunter jumpers that we were talking about earlier with one of our horses. Some came from a training facility where they were horses that helped train other horses or other people. We've had cutters. We've had, so many different backgrounds.
Any type of
a cutting horse. Cutting horse though, and they're very active. I can't imagine them being trainable to be more passive than that.
Some of them don't have that desire to be that anymore.
Yeah, I guess so. But I don't know a lot about horses, so I don't want to throw down a bunch of words. But I have seen plenty of rodeo my last few dozen years, and I'm just thinking those animals, I don't know how they could be suitable, but I guess after a while, I'm sure they're all older horses, right?
Not necessarily. We look for horses ages 5 to 18 to be brought into our program. Right now, our herd is about half geriatric, which means 20 years or older. But it just depends on their personality and what they were trained for. And some of them, what they were trained for, they never really wanted to do. And so they come to us because they didn't succeed in what they were being trained for.
It's interesting. You being around these horses, you talk about them like they have distinct personalities.
They do.
Most people are like, that horse is a horse, of course, like Mr. Ed. that probably predates y'all, but anyway. Doesn't. Okay. Anyway, but I'm just saying that a horse is a horse to most people. But y'all say, no, that one has this kind of personality, and you can just tell, if they're suitable or not for your purposes. That's interesting.
Yeah. We've got a variety of personalities, and we have some that are extremely playful and curious. We've got some that are just really laid back and they just want to be loved on, and some that will absolutely pull you in and give you a hug.
Wow. See, you make it sound like they're a pet, but they're not. I guess they're not.
They're our coworkers.
Coworkers, okay. But Allison, how long you been in this?
I've been involved with Wings of Hope for about 20 years.
How did you get involved in it? Did you grow up around horses and things of that nature?
I did not grow up around horses. I always wanted to grow up around horses. So born and raised Fort Worth gal, smack dab inner city. And about teenage years, I decided or realized really that, the pony was never going to show up under the Christmas tree. And so as a teenager and a young adult, I wanted to be able to learn more about horses and kind of, fill that desire. And so my parents had always instilled volunteerism in me, and Wings of Hope was and is always looking for volunteers. And so it was kind of just a great natural fit of, okay, I can volunteer and give back and, donate some time and also be able to engage and learn more about horses. And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah. And how long, Theresa, you've been with them?
I'm going on my 10th year. I knew nothing about horses, although I, like Allison, wanted to have that pony under my Christmas tree every year, and grew up in Minnesota, and that was never going to be an option. Moved here to Texas. That still was never going to be an option. My background is actually interpreting for the deaf, and it just kind of played into a part of wanting to be around those with special needs. And I found Wings of Hope and started as a volunteer, and quickly realized that I wanted to be in that arena. And
so you're a Texan by choice.
I am a Texan by choice.
Well, you picked about the most Texan type of activity you can think of.
Absolutely.
Because probably everybody in Minnesota thinks that's how we get around to the grocery store or to the school is ride our horse.
Right.
When I was teaching school, and I was one time I was visiting Scotland, and they just assumed that I had my horse tied up somewhere and that kind of thing, and is that down at the barn, and I'll just mosey on down and head over to the saloon or what, they just had this whole Western image of Texas, but most Texans probably haven't been on a horse in years.
Right.
Okay. But so you were both attracted not just to the horse aspect of it, but to the service aspect of it. Yeah, you wanted to do something other than just play with horses. You wanted to do something productive. It's quite obvious, and that's great. That's what Burleson has a lot of that. I've talked about it quite often about the number of nonprofits that are really making a tremendous difference in our community. And then I believe we met at the chamber event back in February, and I thought, wow, that's interesting. I had no idea that we had that going on. I'm sure people that had needed your service know about it, but as far as I didn't have any idea we had an equine therapy. When I first moved here, Burleson had more horse-related people, shall we say, horse farms and dairies and whatnot, and cattle. And not so much anymore. It's a lot of that's moved south and west as we become more suburbanized. But I've lived here since '91, and I had several students that would work in and with and around horses. I don't know if the last few years I had anybody. So there it is. But as far as the clients, where do you get them from? I mean, I know you probably advertise or whatever, but how do they come to you?
Most of it was word of mouth prior to maybe 10 years ago. But now we have some doctors that know about us and counselors and therapists, and they tell their clients that, they really feel that equine therapy would be beneficial to them. The community now knows a lot about Wings of Hope, and just more word of mouth.
Well, hopefully this will get it out even further, I hope so. It's interesting, though, they find you, but you have relationships like equine vets and things of that nature, or counselors and counseling offices. We
do. Yeah, we have a lot of collaboration, like what you were, referencing with Burleson and Johnson County community. We're seeing tons and tons of growth, not only within our organization, but obviously just, citywide, countywide. But within that, there's still a lot of, collaboration. So working with different agencies, we partner with the Center for ASD here in town. We partner with a couple of different disability-based agencies, getting out in front of the school districts, just local folks to let them know, hey, we are here and we're here to help and to be a resource. And if we're not needed as a resource, that, we're here in the community as a resource, and we need folks to partner with us and help us and volunteer or donate their time or funds.
Do you have any kind of, I wouldn't say limitations, but parameters for the type of client that y'all will accept? Do you have parameters of such? What would they be?
So we fall under PATH. It's our governing body, stands for Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship, and they give us parameters as to what we can accept and what we can't. And then Wings of Hope has limitations. So for us, you have to be at least 4. The PATH requires that as well. Then there are guidelines that tell us, like, if they're if they have Down syndrome and they have what is it called?
AI. So it's a different type of kind of extension of the diagnosis of Down syndrome. And so it requires a little bit further in depth of medical intervention that then gives us information to discern if it's safe or not.
Right.
Especially safe mounted. So like Theresa was talking about earlier, we have 2 different programs because everything we do at Wings of Hope, it's about abilities, right? But we recognize people are coming to us because of a challenge. And so we want to recognize not only how can we best serve them, meet their goals, meet their objectives. And when we say that, it means, are they a survivor of something? And that goal is that they want to walk again, or they want to be independent, or maybe they do have autism and they are nonverbal. So is that goal to be able to utilize language in the same way you and I do with words and communication? Or is that through signing? Is that through sensory integration, through petting the horse? So those goals and objectives look very different according to that client. So we want to make sure we're identifying those goals and objectives, but obviously outside of that, we've got to make sure that it's safe, that it's in line with kind of the person and the family as a whole. Is it, if they're school age, is it maybe in line with their IEP, with their, goals at school, et cetera, so that we can just be one kind of piece of that big pie.
So you work with the school districts then on their diagnosis? Because as a teacher, I got IEPs and 504 diagnoses all the time.
Right.
If the parents want to share that information with us and we can collaborate with the teachers, we can absolutely work with them.
I've had that happen with other outfits. Okay, that parents had to sign some waivers that allowed me to talk about their child and whatnot. But it wasn't very common, though. It really wasn't. I could probably count on one hand how many times it happened. And I'd get a call or I'd get an email from somebody from the organization. How's he doing in school? How's he behaving? Any signs that we should know about, and that kind of thing. But it really wasn't that common. I hope it's more common now.
We are finding that it is more common, definitely. It's still not as common as what we would hope, just again, for the community to realize that we are a resource and that resource goes further than just looking that client in the eye while they're on the back of a horse. It is, how can we help their family? How can we help any other therapies that they're involved in, school, work, et cetera. So we're definitely getting there and, headed in that right direction. We also work with a lot of foster kiddos. So being able to work like with CASA of Johnson County, having CAC be familiar with our services. We work with
You're talking about the Children's Advocacy Center?
Yes.
They've been on the show a couple of times. I know they just had a big event. They also have a Western theme fundraiser.
Yeah,
so
great agency.
So I've had Tammy King on here a couple of times. But so I'm familiar with them. And with CASA, one of my more consistent listeners has worked with CASA before. And she said it's a very, very difficult job.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so... So it's interesting because I'm just imagining in my mind, you have a situation where, you have some parent takes their child to a therapist, or maybe an adult goes to a therapist, and they say, you need to ride a horse, or something like that. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
It really is. They call us and they say, can you work with this diagnosis? And we're like,
right.
yes, we can.
Well, that's interesting. You did send us some video. Taylor, will you show the 51-second one first, if you would, please? And then you got all these other brochures you sent us. So here we are.
Join our volunteer team and help us partner horses and humans. To be a volunteer, you must be at least 14 years of age. No horse experience is required. Volunteers must be physically able to walk alongside a rider and their horse in a dirt arena or in a trail for 1 hour. Volunteers also must be effectively able to communicate with instructors, staff, riders, and other volunteers. When signing up to volunteer, we do ask that you commit to 3 months minimum, an hour and a half weekly on the same day and time each week. You will be part of a team with the horses and the rider, and we like to have consistency. Volunteers are the backbone of our mission. We cannot do what we do without them. For more information, visit our website at www.wingsofhopeequatherapy.org.
Which kind of leads to my next question. I was going to ask you before this, so I guess this is a good segue. You have a combination of paid staff and volunteers, right?
Yes.
And for the paid staff, what qualifications must they have? Because I'm sure they have to have some more than just an hour training. Do they need to have professional credentials and things of that nature?
That's a great question. So we do have a staff of 10 that is part-time to full-time. So some of our part-time staff assist us on the weekends and kind of, odd hours and being able to help and focus with the herd. So some of that part-time staff may be literally just a couple of hours a month, all the way to some full-time staff that is there, full-time and then some. So depending on that staff member, they do have, different skills, talents, credentials. Not everyone comes into us with horse experience, especially as a volunteer. We do have staff members. The majority of our staff members typically, kind of start as a volunteer and then integrate it into the staff. One of the things that we're, really proud of in our 28 years is that we do have staff, both human and equine, that has been there for 10 plus years. So we have a lot of longevity. As Theresa mentioned earlier, the organization PATH, that is our governing agency, and they set forth the kind of standards and safety regulations for centers like us worldwide. So depending on the area that we are as staff members or how we're working hands-on with clients or horses, kind of discerns the specific certification or kind of educational pathways that is typically through PATH. But we all come, to the table with different skills, different tools, different, walk of life.
Mm-hmm. So if somebody want to be on the, like a paid staff member or part of full time, do they have to have like counseling degrees or certifications, things of that nature?
Yes. So all of us that are providing direct services for our clients are what we refer to ourselves as instructors. And we have all obtained a certification through PATH or are supervised under someone who has that certification. Okay. So like for Theresa and I, for example, we have dual certifications. So we have what's called a CTRI, which is a certified therapeutic riding instructor. And what that does is that really just gives us the tools and the education to know, I don't want to say all things because we're consummate learners, right? But many things horses and many things disabilities and how to pair those and marry those together. And then we also have a certification that allows us to work kind of more on the mental health, the ground-based side. So we at Wings of Hope really want to adapt to who our community is and kind of the needs with that. So in our 28 years of service, we've seen an influx of adults or an influx of children. Certainly right now we're seeing kind of an influx of folks that are managing some, either mental health or kind of more on the emotional side. So while we are not counselors, we do partner with counselors. We do have agencies that will partner with that they may come in and they are licensed physical therapists or occupational therapists, speech therapists, et cetera. So some of our certifications allow us to be able to partner with that professional side and bring our professional side to the table as well.
Well, to be a volunteer, it takes more, I'm thinking, though, to just say, I want to show up and help, because you're really having to deal with two separate groups. The horse, which I'm listening to y'all talk, you talk about them like they're staff members and human beings.
Yes.
And on a side note, I've had young ladies in my high school classes for years saying, just love horses. I'm like, what is the deal with girls and horses? They love horses, but anyway, because the teenage boys are such knuckleheads, so, but they also, besides the horse, have to deal with the client, and not everybody is as experienced dealing with people with disabilities or trauma or things of that nature. So I'm sure there's a learning curve.
Absolutely, there is, and that's one of the things that obviously we're very passionate about it. Theresa and I have both been saturated in this industry and at Wings of Hope, but we all have our first time to walk through the barn doors, right? So we recognize that what we're really looking for is people who just have a servant heart and have a willingness to learn and to be able to be flexible, because working with horses. And then you throw in, people with challenges or disabilities. Where plan A is we're going to go buy a lottery ticket kind of day. It doesn't always happen that way. So the folks that come to us, especially as volunteers, they may or may not have a horse experience, or they may have an amazing horse experience, but that's in that barn that they learned that in, or that culture or that discipline of horses that they learned that in. So really, we just offer continual training. There is an initial training that is involved for the first time anybody comes in and volunteers, so that we can especially go over, like all of those safety procedures and protocols, the culture of our barn and our program. And then the training is continual and perpetual after that.
Some of your clients, how do they sometimes react adversely to a new situation, new environment, an unfamiliar thing, they may have never been on a horse before? How do y'all handle that?
With a lot of patience and time. There have been several clients that have come through the barn that we've had to work on the ground with them, just getting them used to going up the ramp, getting them used to wearing a helmet. We meet our clients where they're at, and we don't force it to go any further than that. And so we do have the opportunity to take our time with them. It might be a private lesson with them for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, until they're ready to be with the horse or be on the horse.
Well, in my experience at DHS, my wing that I taught in was right directly across the wing that had most of the special needs students, and they all vary in, needs, right? And every now and then you'd have a sensory overload meltdown, and it frightened some of my kids because they were pretty, they could be pretty serious.
Yes.
And I'm sure y'all have had to deal with that. I just wondered, here you have a young man or a young woman with, maybe, on the autistic scale, and here you're going to put them on this animal for the first time, they may have some reaction.
Absolutely.
So you have to work with that,
If it gets to be too much, we let them get off the horse, and we tell them we'll try again next week. So we it's never you have to keep going. We don't want to do that to
You
them.
mentioned a ground program as well.
Yes.
Taylor, will you play a little bit of the other video they showed? Because you were talking about the benefits of therapy. So we have a second one here. I don't think we could show the whole thing, but we can show enough of it to get an idea.
I'm 10 years old. I'm currently in 5th grade. One of my diagnoses is anxiety. I got diagnosed with it when I was 5, and I started taking medication when I was 6 years old. And then another thing is health. I have a rare genetic disorder. It's called Allard syndrome, or EDS. I do go through pain every day, whether it's in my bones or if it's in my stomach. Sometimes I just feel like I can't move. And sometimes I'll have a really bad headache, or I feel a panic attack coming on. But once I start to spend time with the horses, I start to calm down and feel comfortable. Sometimes I'll just walk around in the barn and pet the horses, feed them treats, or brush them. But one of my personal favorites is walking Posa or any horse in the round pen. You're not gonna learn without making a mistake, so you gotta make mistakes to be able to learn. It's like speaking another language, almost. You're learning how to communicate with an animal. You have to understand their movements, and it makes me feel pretty good that I can understand what they're trying to tell me by what they're doing. I'm going through and have been through rough times, but being a part of Wings of Hope gives me something to look forward to at the end of the week, and it just keeps me going because I'll get excited.
My name is No Min On. I am 51 years old. I was born in Da Nang, South Vietnam. In 1975, when I was 4 years old, I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. There is no cure for CP, but over the years I have had speech therapy, physical therapy, and occupational therapy. I am now fortunate enough to receive physical therapy, massage therapy, music therapy, and recreational therapy, along with equitherapy at Wings of Hope. I had heard about Wings of Hope through the class program and Easter Seals, and I started riding in 2003. When I graduated from high school, I didn't really have many opportunities to go out in the community and interact with people. Wings of Hope gave me a place to go, a place to fit in, a place to feel valued, and a place to meet people, which is my favorite part of being at Wings. Those all provide meaning and great encouragement for me. Riding at Wings has its challenges for me. The biggest challenge has been working through the pain in my hips and the tightness in my legs, but riding helps with that. Some other benefits of riding are helping with my balance and developing my concentration and persistence while I'm riding. But the socialization means the most to me. I've ridden at least a dozen horses, but my favorite was Speck. I had a special bond with him. Over the years, I've had several different instructors and volunteers. I appreciate how they help me get on and off the horse, but mostly how friendly they are to me. They make a point to greet me every week, and they always talk to me and encourage me. One thing I would like you to know about my journey is, while it is disappointing that I am unable to speak, I appreciate the people who patiently wait while I spell out words with my hands or on my notebook. As you can see, my smile is what makes me special. This is Al, No Men's dad. His mom and I have seen his self-esteem grow exponentially from riding at Wings of Hope. He has been fortunate enough to win numerous ribbons and belt buckles and riding competitions over the years. He displays them proudly on the walls of his bedroom. He loves everything related to horses, and he enjoys telling people about his exploits. He is especially proud of his cowboy boots and riding helmet.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. I'm watching y'all watch the video, and you're both just smiling and happy. It caught me laughing a little bit because I look over there and y'all just so happy.
It's great to see the clients up on the horses and with the horses. The first young lady, Macy, that was talking about walking around with the horses and the horses talking to her. That's one of the great things of being at Wings of Hope is we teach them how horses communicate. And so they learn what the horses are, how the horses are communicating to them, how they communicate in the herd. And it opens their eyes to different ways that other people might communicate. So it opens those doors for that as well. And so it's been great to watch Macy, because Macy has gone from the ground-based program now to the mounted program, and she was able to take everything that she learned from that ground-based education and now put it to use while riding.
Well, I'm watching that, and there's various activities. You mentioned a ground-based one. I guess walking the horses and whatnot is primarily what we're talking about here. And it just, I guess just there's something about having an animal to love on you and for you to love just does something for you. And, because I know I have a couple of cats in my house, not that I want them, but my daughter does. And, and it's like, man, what's the deal here with the animals and whatever? But they really, I had a dog, and I know what you're talking about. And when we had to put her down, it broke my heart. So,
sure.
But as far as these therapies, it sounds like you have a wide range of them, not just throwing them out on a horse or, giving them a treat or something, but it's like a whole program. I mean, I guess you have you have a systematic plan for each one of your clients.
Yes.
Maybe they can graduate from ground to horseback.
Well, it's very fluid. They can go back to ground if they, they get up on the horse and there's things that they want to work on from the ground for a little bit longer. We can just go back and forth. That is the great thing about having both programs, is that they can do that.
Well, that young girl was very well spoken.
Yes.
And it's quite obvious it's done her a tremendous amount of good. As far as the financial end of it, this is a combination of fees and fundraising, right?
Yes.
Best of both worlds, I guess. So how does one pay for it? Because I mean, I may have a listener that says I have a autistic child or nephew or something like that, or have a brother who has PTSD, and they want to get involved in this. So how would they financially arrange this?
So one of the things that we always want to tell people is that our co-founders, Margaret Dickens and Patty Pace, who had the vision and brought this to fruition, started a precedent, and we have maintained a commitment that no one has ever turned away for inability to pay. We do not want finances to be that deciding factor. So we do charge $40 per service. So every time someone comes out and partners with a horse, whether it's on the ground or in the mounted program, because one's not more than or less than, it is $40. If there is somebody who cannot pay that $40 each time, because we recognize, especially now, things are expensive, and we're looking at the population that we're partnering with, and they are perhaps hitting, maximum out of pocket in insurance, or they're having to pay for therapies that maybe are not covered by insurance. And at this time, the services that we offer are considered recreational, and so we are not able to bill for insurance.
That's what I was going to ask you next. Is this covered under insurance? Why not? Because it is therapy, and the other therapies are covered. $1
million question. We are getting there. I've been at Wings of Hope for 20 of our 28 years, and we are definitely seeing that we're heading in the right direction. There are some, folks in Austin and lobbying that do see the need and are in a position to be able to kind of help the industry, worldwide. That is definitely something that PATH is working on as well. But that's a whole nother business, a whole nother, but we're getting there.
You're in a similar business to another young lady that's been on my show several times, Fitability TX.
Yes,
so,
we love Jessica.
Okay, so y'all know each other.
Yes,
okay,
we
so I bet y'all could, cross-reference each other for clients and whatnot. She was on the show. She's been on about 5 or 6 times. She used to be right across the street. Now she's over in East Renfro. I just wondered if y'all were aware. Apparently, y'all are way ahead of me.
No, she's amazing.
But as far as the fundraising side of it, how do y'all fundraise? Besides, I know you probably have a website and you'll take donations, but do you have events and things of that nature to help fundraise?
Yes. So first, our biggest event is Roundup for Riders.
Do you have that sent to Taylor?
I do.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
There it is.
He's always way ahead of me anyway.
It is August 2nd at River Ranch Stockyards from 6 to 10. We have silent auction, live auction, raffles, what we call Chuck-a-Duck. And then we have a band that's coming this year,
Bronson Lewis music.
And that will be live music for us. And after all the fun events and everything, we'll have a dance. We're always looking for sponsorships, auction donations for our live and silent auctions. So that is our biggest fundraiser. And that probably raises 30-40% of our funds for the year.
That is correct. It's our bread and butter.
As far as like donations and such, a lot of some of our sponsors and a lot of other businesses in town, they often contribute small items so they can collectively put it in a basket or something like that. Y'all do those kind of things?
Absolutely.
Because I know a couple of names you ought to call if you haven't called them already. I'm not going to call them out on the air because I've already done that before, and they're like, thanks a lot. But most of the time, though, it's primarily through this private fundraising. You don't get grants, do you?
Yes, we do.
Oh, good.
do.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Because I've talked to the others I have had on the show, and they said it is a beating sometimes to get these grants. And some of them said they try to rely on private donations as much as possible, or resale shops like Harvest House or Next Step. But getting grants is arduous.
It really is. We are very fortunate that within our staff of 10 that we have 2 full-time employees that do work in grant writing. So it's not 100% of their job. They're not a full-time grant writer, but it is definitely a large portion. And we are very fortunate that was Margaret Dickens, one of our founders, that she had that ability. And we all know somebody that you meet and you leave and you're like, wait, what did I just commit to it. You know, she has that amazing gift.
I know there's somebody in Burleson named Patsy Dumas.
Yes.
You know Patsy.
She's amazing with that too.
Not tell her no.
Yeah, who can tell her no?
Right.
I just was put on in the group, the Burleson Opportunity Fund for School, and she was the president this year. And I'm thinking, who in the world will tell Patsy Dumas no? She'll come up to you and say, I need one of your kidneys, please. Okay.
Right.
I need to hand it over. You know?
Yes.
So, you know, and so there are people that are gifted at that.
Yes. Very much so.
You know, and Burleson has a lot of these nonprofits, and they have a lot of people that support them. We are blessed as a community.
Amen.
Now,
yes, we are.
Now, you are located kind of out in the country, obviously. Can't imagine being in Old Town, but you said you were near Egan.
Correct.
So if you're not familiar with Egan, if y'all are out there listening to this, where exactly are y'all located?
So we are just south of Burleson. Our physical address is Cleburne, but we're actually much closer to Burleson. We're actually in the Burleson ETJ. We're right by Burleson, and Keene and Joshua, where it all comes together at the dreaded Egan Railroad tracks.
Yes,
So,
I've crossed them before.
Yes. So we are just west of 35 on 917, or we are just south of Bethesda. We're on County Road 806. So if you ever get stuck at those railroad tracks and you're making that cross through down 806 to Bethesda, give our horses a wave, or better yet, come on up the driveway, come stop in and say hi.
I have probably passed that numerous times. Honestly, I thought it was a horse ranch. I did not know it was. Honestly, I did not know it was a therapy group. I didn't know what that you were doing. I just thought it was somebody that owned horses. So now I know.
Yes.
And now they know, hopefully.
Yes.
But we're talking about fundraising and whatnot. Do you have on your website a place they can donate?
Yes.
Okay. Did you send us a link to that? What is the link though to your website?
wingsofhopehorses.org. And then you just go to the top menu and it says give. And there's options there that you can choose. It can be monetary. It can be from our Amazon wish list. It can be anything that we might need that's on that give area.
Well, Taylor's about to pull it up because he's just a wizard at that. And see, you can see he's pulling it up. Yeah.
So that top right where it says give.
Let's go. There it is on the screen. There we go. And so up in the top right, no, over here, Allison. That screen. Anyway, so you could just donate.
Yes.
You scroll down, make a donation, wish lists, items.
I assume you could do monthly donations,
Yes.
or like the others do.
Yes.
Okay, good. So, and they tell me they all say the same thing about monthly donations. Even if it's just a few bucks on a regular basis, it's going to be consistent. It helps you with your budgeting and whatever else. But some people think, well, I'm not a wealthy person, I can't get $10,000. But $25 a month to some people, that's the widow's mites. That's the that's a real sacrificial giving. And and this is a good idea, a good program to support. Even if it's just $10 a month,
Absolutely. We have donors who have committed to $5 a month, and it's amazing because we know that $5 is coming in. That $5 could be a bag of carrots, or it's $5 to, go towards paying a light bill, or, offsetting the cost so that we can continue to never turn anybody away for inability to pay. So truly every dollar makes a difference, whether it's, 1 or 1 million, it's equally as important because it's all going into our overall budget. Which sits right at about $500,000 every year. So we are, to be good stewards of our funds and to fundraise and to continue to make this commitment in our community. We have to raise a minimum of about $500,000 a year, and so every dollar truly does make a difference and just goes right back into our mission, and is quite literally, going to feed a horse, or help to support the human staff of volunteers. Or humans of staff or volunteers, to be able to provide that. So it all makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. And, because, Jennifer Woods over at Harvest House says that that the strain, I guess, if you want to put it that way, of fundraising can be taxing a bit.
Yes.
Because there's so much, what you need to be doing and you wish you could be doing, but the financial constraints prevent you from doing that. And But on the other hand, I can only imagine the hundreds of people that benefited by what you're doing. I just think, I'm very fortunate to live. We're all fortunate to live in this area that if I had a need of, groceries, or I had a problem pregnancy, or I had a a relative in need of this kind of therapy, on and on and on, there's somebody in this community that provides it. And I don't think a lot of people in Burleson even realize that.
Yes. Yeah. And we're so fortunate on the resource side that we collaborate with all of those agencies. We work with all of those ladies or the men that are in the staff of all of those agencies to collaborate, to whether that's just I saw that, I believe it was Crazy 8 is needing a new refrigerator. So anybody's got one in your garage you don't need, call Crazy 8s.
Right.
But I saw just in a Facebook exchange that Harvest House tagged some of their staff. Hey, if we get one donated, Crazy 8s needs it. So there's so much of that's going on in our community that we're so fortunate to be a part of. And then just within each of our own, kind of scopes of our mission and what we do. So you like Next Step, for instance, you would think, how would they ever partner with Wings of Hope? But yet we've had in-depth conversations with them about, hey, if you've got a mom who is struggling and after she has that pregnancy, or maybe if, it goes to adoption and that mom is struggling with, all the things, send them our way. Let's let them love on a horse. Let's let them, come and build some confidence. Look in the eyes of a horse that says you're important, you're worthy, you matter. And so, there's so much, kind of cross collaboration that's going on with that too, that you wouldn't necessarily think, how does a horse help with that? But yet a horse is going to help with that. And how can we send you and refer you to other agencies that can make that help go even further?
Well, I know you're not a food bank, but do people donate feed and things of that nature?
Yes, they do. Yes.
Sherry Scott actually was the person I was referring to earlier from the CASA volunteer. What a great program. Thank you for all you do for our community. And so do you know Sherry by any chance?
I don't believe I do.
Well, she also does those blessing boxes around town, if you've seen those promoted. But as far as what people could do now, basically the financial end, that's the important thing. So hopefully Saturday we'll be able to do this. You sent us a couple other flyers, did you not?
I did.
But why don't you throw them out there? We have a few more minutes left.
Where'd you send them?
I just forwarded them to you on the email.
All right, give me a second.
Well, if we don't get to them, then we'll try them next time. But what's going on this Saturday for those who are kind of catching it in? Gayla is doing that Kentucky Derby party at the Southern Gym, and y'all are going to be there. I don't know how long, but you'll be there at least.
Yes.
And there's going to be some sort of drawing for that, and for some sort of financial donation and whatnot. I believe she's put aside some stuff for a raffle, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But it's an important cause as well. It's not just to promote the business, which it is, but also to promote y'all. And I think that's a really great thing. And that's what this community does.
Yeah.
There's a lot of businesses in this community to do the same thing.
Well, that's what's kind of great about this partnership that we just started with Gayla, is we had not met before. Somebody had suggested that they use a nonprofit that has horses to benefit from the Kentucky Derby fundraiser that she was doing. And we happened to be the lucky ones. Yeah,
we met at that chamber event. She was there as well. I guess that's the first time y'all ever spoke in person.
Yes.
But that's it's almost typical of Burleson to do that and whatnot. Now, as far as this event in August, you say you need not just donations and such, but you also need donated items.
Yes.
And things of that nature. Taylor's asking me to form again. I don't think we'll have enough time, but we'll do this again, and we'll get to them then. Anyway, as far as a couple of nonprofits, I want to make sure to get a word in, because this Saturday's a big day in Burleson. We
yes,
have
it is.
Election Day as well, but you also have the City on the Hill at VHS from 10 to 2. Now, you can do all these things they got Saturday without conflicting with each other. You can go vote, or if you haven't already, which early voting's still open, or you can vote that day as well, and then go to City on the Hill at 10 to 2, and then this Gayla's event, the Kentucky Derby Party. There it is. It's going to be 3 to 7. And then they have Cinco de Mayo from 7 to 9, or something like that, at the City Plaza. So that's going to be a lot of fun. They're going to have lots of professional photographer. I did not see that one before. I know exactly who that is. And so that's going to, I know she does really good work. So come out and have your picture made. And all dressed to impress. She wants you to wear Kentucky Derby type gear, hats and whatnot.
The bigger
bow
the better,
ties,
right?
something like that. But jewelry and watch raffle, things of that nature, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Well, actually, it's from 4 to 7. I said 3 to 7. It's 4 to 7. But if you showed up early, I bet they won't kick you out. So, that's fine. We're about out of time, so I'm going to let y'all have the last word. Y'all tell us, because some people tune in at the end of the show or whatever, and so tell us where you're at, how you can be contacted, and whatever else you want people to know about your therapy sessions and your business, or not business, your organization.
So we're located at 4200 County Road 806 in Cleburne. You can reach us at wingsofhopehorses.org. All the information is on our website, or you can give us a call, come out and have a tour of the barn. It's 817-783-3805. You can text at that number as well. So we would love to see all the faces at the barn and come say hi to a horse and meet our staff and maybe become a volunteer.
And Allison?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Open invitation. Yeah. So really, we do encourage you to check out our website. It has a little bit more in-depth information about our therapeutic programs. We also offer an equine discovery program where there's opportunities for summer camp, for team building, field trips. So, we just feel strongly that horses are a valuable partner, and that we're all managing or struggling or working on something, right? So whatever that is, will allow us to show you how a horse can be a part of that.
Well, you mentioned something in your little ending speech there about bringing out field trips and whatever. So like a local daycare center or kindergarten or whatever, Sunday school class come out there, and not because they have the need of your therapy, just because they want to be around horses.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, good. That's a good thing.
Yep.
They don't have to have a diagnosis for them to come out.
Yeah, just have class come out there. I remember my son and daughter when they were in school, good field trips like that, and they just loved it. They talk about the horses, the horses, and all this other stuff. Okay. Well, I appreciate y'all what you do, and I'm glad that y'all are in our neighborhood, so to speak, because it just makes me another reason why I'm glad to be here.
Well, thank you for having us.
Well, no problem. Tomorrow I'm going to have 2 candidates for Joshua ISD school board races, and then Thursday about the Joshua ISD bond that they're promoting. But after Election Day on Saturday, I might be done for political shows for a little while. But it's been a good month. And before y'all leave, let's schedule another time for that fundraiser you got coming up in August.
Wonderful.
Taylor, you were outstanding today with your visuals, as always.
Just trying to be like you.
Well, you can do your best. But anyway, so we'll see all y'all tomorrow. And thank y'all for listening.